Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comp and Coffee, Payscale's official podcast, where we drink coffee and talk about all things to do with compensation. I'm Ruth Thomas, Chief Evangelist and current custodian of the podcast. In this episode, we're going to bring you some new content. We want to spend some time today talking about how Payscale is innovating our solutions in response to market demands and key compensation trends. We're trying lots of new things here at Payscale, and we want to make sure that you all know about it. So maybe you're a customer. I know many of the customers listen to our podcast. So we thought sharing more detail on how our product and data offerings are advancing would be definitely of interest for you. And maybe you're not a customer. We hope that we give you an idea today about some of the innovations that are driving the compensation industry today. And to help me through this conversation, I'm joined by not one, not two, but three fellow Payscale colleagues today. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a moment, but I'm joined by Brooke Grimes, who's our Senior Director of Product Marketing, James Atkinson, VP of Data Products, and Brittany Innes, who's Senior Director in Product Management. Welcome, all three of you. So James, you've joined us before on Comp and Coffee, so the audience probably know a little bit about you if they've been listening to our past episodes, but do you want to just quickly reintroduce yourself again?
Absolutely. Happy to be here. James Atkinson. I'm a VP of Data Products here at Payscale. I've been here for coming up on a year now and been in the HR industry for about a decade overall. So excited to be here today.
Thanks, James. Okay, Brooke and Brittany, it's over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. And then more importantly, we have our induction question before we can officially let you on the podcast. Are you a coffee or a tea drinker?
I can go first. My name is Brooke Grimes. I lead our product marketing teams here at Payscale. I've been with the company a little over 4 years, and I've been, like James, in the HR industry for a really long time, everything from payroll and HCM to recruiting and now into the compensation space. And I definitely am a coffee drinker.
Great. Brittany, what about you?
There's a theme going here. I'm also an avid coffee drinker, although I do enjoy some decaf tea to unwind at night. Similar to James and Brooke, I've also been in the HR tech industry over a decade here, compensation management, of course, today, but in the past, performance management, learning and development, behavioral assessments. And I'm really thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for having me, Ruth.
Is this the first time on Comp and Coffee? I mean, Comp and Coffee's been going for a while. Is this the first time you've been on? I find that hard to believe, Brittany.
It is cutting my teeth today.
Well, welcome. Welcome, Brooke and Brittany. Okay, so we are recording this kind of mid-April, and we've had an exciting new approach to how we launch products and innovations here at Payscale. And that was what we really wanted to dive in today and share that with you. So we've approached things a little differently this time. And I'm going to start with you, Brooke. Can you tell us about the launch and the key themes that we've been talking about as part of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's not new from Payscale is that we have been releasing new technology and updates to our data every 2 to 3 weeks, for as long as I can remember. And so things are really constantly evolving. And what we're doing differently, though, is we want to make sure that our market really and our customers really know what's going on so that they're able to take advantage of all of the new things that are being put into market. And a lot of what we're doing today revolves around 3 top priority areas for Payscale, which Brittany and James will dive into here a little bit more in a couple minutes. But the first is that Payscale is working to become more and more powered by AI. There is definitely no escaping mentions of AI and the power it's bringing to both our personal and professional lives. And Payscale is really working to stay ahead of the trend and evaluate how we leverage AI in innovative ways, but also using AI in ways that our users want to use AI and are comfortable using AI. So we're going to talk a little bit about how this is a starting place for us. As I mentioned, Brittany and James are going to go into more about what that looks like, what we've done today, and what we're looking to do in the future. The next area of focus for us is ensuring our users have the tools to do the most basic and vital task in compensation, which is benchmarking their jobs. And there's really 2 main components to this. First is ensuring that Payscale's data sources continue to reflect our current market and provide the breadth of data that our users need, but also the depth of data that our users need. And so really focusing in on that data and the evolutions there is important. And then the secondary to that is the technology and the features that our users have available to them to leverage the data to benchmark jobs quickly and easily within our products. And last, but certainly not least, is an area of improvement based on just user generated feedback. We have over 8,000 users every day giving us feedback about the products and the data that they're using. And so we spend time, all of the time focused on how can we make improvements based on what we're hearing from them, and our users provide feedback directly in the product. I know James and Brittany are constantly on the phone. Our customer success teams are constantly on the phone. And so there's a lot of user generated feedback that is incorporated into what we've released recently and what James and Brittany will talk about. So that's a little bit about the release and what's new from Payscale.
Great, thank you. So the first word I heard there was AI. And as you say, Brooke, that's definitely been a hot topic. James has already been on an earlier podcast this year, I think, where we were talking about AI. Since we last recorded an episode of the podcast, we've also released our compensation best practice report, 2024 edition. We haven't done an episode on that. We will be recording a couple of those coming up soon. But we did survey HR and compensation folks on what they were thinking about AI. And I know, James, you've been looking at some of those survey outcomes. Do you want to give us, before you start talking about what we're doing on AI, do you want to give us a quick overview of some of the trends we saw in the compensation best practice report?
Yeah, absolutely, Ruth. Happy to do that. And as you noted, we've been tracking how our customers are thinking about AI, with how they're leveraging it as well. And, this year in our compensation best practices report, we surveyed more than 5,000 HR leaders and comp professionals to get a sense of how they're feeling. And they tell us they're largely positive overall when it comes to artificial intelligence. So nearly half of all respondents said they're optimistic about the use of AI in general. About 1 in 3 say, they're not quite sure, and only about 17% are pessimistic overall. But we actually dug a little bit deeper to understand some of that optimism. And most of those respondents tell us that they believe AI is going to help to reduce that unfulfilling work. And they're very excited about the possibilities around that. And about 2 in 5 tell us that they think AI has the potential to actually increase fairness. I'd also say perhaps, maybe contrary to some of the standard headlines, about 1 in 4 of those respondents tell us they're actually excited about AI's potential to create new jobs as well. Now, one of the other things we asked about was, what are you using AI for today in your jobs? And the kind of most used answer from our survey was that they're using AI to manage or generate job descriptions. About 21% are telling us that's how they're leveraging it today. They're also leveraging it in other ways across HR, whether it's parsing resumes and identifying candidates, helping to support L&D, or even kind of crafting those standard HR policy documents. So there's a lot of optimism about what its use is, and there's certainly some early use cases that people are leaning into when it comes to AI.
Yeah, I find it interesting that job descriptions came out top in the CBPR trend report. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing there. But James, I've asked you this before, but for our audience again, what's your view on where we stand today in the use of AI at Payscale?
Yeah, well, again, AI is not a new concept for us here. We've been leveraging it within our products for a while now. So we're using a variety of different AI-based technologies, things like natural language processing, machine learning, and data science. And I'll give a couple of examples. We have natural language processing models that recommend matches for jobs within a user's organization to those within our own compensation data sets. Within our marketplace products, our marketplace matches feature, it's hard to get that word out, uses a machine learning model, and it recommends that additional survey job matches as well. We also have a compensation model that's based on our employer reported data It's a machine learning model that predicts pay ranges based on compensable factors. And, we're continuing to innovate on our use of AI across our products as well. So, for example, just last month we launched a new feature with our peer data set called our peer auto matching feature. And it's an AI powered algorithm that automatically matches our clients' jobs to jobs in the peer data set. So users are available to define their own criteria for this process. They can set confidence levels at which the auto match will take place. They can, set the number of days they have to review these suggested matches before the auto match goes into effect as well. And so, we're really excited about both how we've been using AI, but how we're constantly thinking about new ways to leverage it. And certainly some of the newer forms of AI, and we've heard a lot about generative AI of late. We're also exploring the ways in which we can use that to solve some of our customers' key challenges. And I'll pass it over to Brittany because I know she's got some exciting updates on ways we're leveraging that technology in our product as well.
Yeah, thanks, James. I'm actually not at all surprised to hear that job summaries was really or job descriptions was really one of the key places where folks who had responded to CVPR thought that they could use AI. Again, I've worked with job description management solutions my entire career, and I think that technology has brought us a lot in terms of just maintaining consistency, completeness of job descriptions, making sure that they're getting distributed to the right individuals at the right time. But I think historically, technology has really only brought us that far, right? Like there's a lot of great features that we can offer the market when it comes to job description management. But really, I think that the beast of all of it is the content, right? Like that has always been the most complex part of this. And where it might, seem really simple, it can be quite challenging to get a job description in front of you, blank slate, and create that from scratch. I think the other thing that really comes into play here too is just the nature of managing job descriptions. We often are hearing that it's a decentralized function, right? You have job descriptions that don't necessarily live within human resources, or the HR team isn't the group that is primarily responsible for making sure that those job descriptions exist or that they're available in the right places. And again, I think technology historically has helped us with this, making sure that there is a centralized repository for job descriptions, and that they're using standardized templates, and they're including all the right information. But I don't think that we ever really run into HR or comp teams who feel passionately that they write job descriptions really well. No, that's not a strength for most people, especially when we're talking about job descriptions that maybe you aren't the owner of, I guess, per se. So it doesn't surprise me at all to hear that the market is really looking for additional tools to help create job descriptions in a more efficient and consistent way. And I think that was one of the first things that we started to think about when the hype of ChatGPT and whatnot had really become mainstream, was how can we use tools similar to ChatGPT and these AI models to drive some efficiencies in areas that make the most sense for our customers. Job description management was absolutely one of the first things that we had thought about. So we did act upon that at the very, very tail end of January 2024. We rolled out a feature in our job description management tool that allows our customers to, within the platform, generate a job summary using the help of generative AI. So again, if you think about what is so common to most users and most listeners to the podcast, I think, is that exploration that you've probably done over the past several months with tools like ChatGPT. It is very similar. What we are doing is bringing that directly into the product, making it more accessible. And we've seen a lot of really good traction. We have a really great number of companies who have already adopted AI generated job summaries into their finalized job descriptions. We've generated around 2,000 job summaries in total since this launched on January 31st. And just generally speaking, lots of excitement. We're getting really great feedback from our customers, different ways that they'd like to use generative AI specifically for job descriptions. So really what's on the horizon for us when we think about the use of AI in writing job description content is really up to our customers and really where they're telling us that we should go next. And we certainly envision a world where we're taking, James, I think it was your point, really some of that less exciting work out of the day to day and giving you back some time to focus on more strategic aspects of the compensation and HR roles.
Brittany, it's really interesting. Oh, sorry. It's
Sorry,
really
go ahead, Brooke.
interesting to say that, I think one of the areas too that we hear a lot about in job description management is taking that initial job summary, like just sitting down and creating that is really hard, but where it's really fun for users is when they take that summary and they start to collaborate with other users and say like, hey, how well does this relate to what this role is going to be doing at our company? And, obviously there's functionality within the product to facilitate that process as well. But I think it takes that, sitting down with a blank slate of paper out of the equation so that our users can spend more time on that collaboration aspect and making sure that they really get it right for that organization. I know that's where we've seen a lot of positive feedback, as well as the mixture of that AI and, how people start to then work together in the platform to get the answer right.
Yeah, I mean, I know from my time as a practitioner, it's writing job descriptions was probably one of the least favorite occupations. And that's probably why so many of them were very dormant. And we can't afford to have that today because job descriptions are becoming more important because we need them to build pay structures. And we know that people are thinking very hard about building pay structures in a world of pay transparency. And then also, even before we start talking about skills-based talent management, where we start to, try and identify the skills required to do jobs, organizations are trying to think about that. We've got to get good job descriptions in place before we can start attaching skills to them. So it's a huge move forward. And I'm really excited that our customers are getting their hands on that. And interesting to hear the feedback that we've had so far and the response rate, Brittany. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's such an interesting point that both of you bring up, really, because when we think about job descriptions and writing job descriptions, I talked about, the fact that this is oftentimes a decentralized task. It's not completely up to HR to build out these job descriptions. It's often on management teams that sit outside of HR. But job descriptions, when you think about them, they are such a high leverage artifact. It's important that you get them right. And I think that oftentimes when you're writing content like this, it kind of feel like overhead. I've got to get a job description. I'm not hiring. What is this job description going to be used for? And it is so critical. So I think that any ways that we can make these high leverage activities a little bit easier for folks who have a lot of other things going on in their day to day, I think is a huge win for us and a huge win for compensation and pay equality as a whole, truthfully. But to Brooke's point about collaboration, you're right. Again, centralized processes. We have this great collaboration function that we released back in 2023 for job description management, with the intent of get more people into the product collaborating on job descriptions so that they can be more accurate to the functions being performed in that role. But that also means you're opening this up to folks who may not feel really comfortable writing a job description from scratch. So I think, there's really so many benefits here, and I'm excited to see where AI takes the job description function as a whole.
It'll be interesting in 12 months' time to see, where we are. So we're going to talk about the next theme that was part of this launch that we have just done. And for me, it kind of relates to another data point from Compensation Best Practice Report, which was when we asked our audience in the survey what was their top challenge going to be in 2024, they said compensation. Now, sometimes when we look at the people that are applying to the survey, we say, are they biased? Because in the main, a large number of them are comp professionals. But compensation has never been the top challenge before. So it's normally a battle between engagement, recruitment, and retention as to which one of those is number one or two. But this year we saw comp come to the top. So I know for all of you, who are listening to the podcast, you're probably feeling that pain. And so one of our other themes was really focusing on simplified workflows and how we can make some of those less attractive jobs that you potentially have to do in your role easier. So, Brittany, do you want to tell us about some of the innovations that we launched relative to simplifying workflows?
Absolutely. That sounds great. And just for the record, comp has always been the number one thing for all of us. So we're ahead of the times here, I think. Yeah, we've got some great updates coming to many of our products, just specifically related to making sure that our workflows are really easy to use. This is why our customers are coming to us and using our products. But specifically in our compensation planning product, we have a lot of updates coming to the experience again. So speaking towards simplifying those workflows, we've made an investment in the functionality around that manager users had access to. So think of yourself as a manager going through the review cycle and distributing merit to your teams. What we wanted to be able to do was help managers incorporate communications into that review process. So we rolled out a new feature where managers can track comments, we can go back and forth and streamline those communications within the tool. So making sure that we're really keeping pertinent information in the product as opposed to opening up different lines of communication that could potentially get lost in translation. We want to make sure that these are all well documented and that the important information is easily available. But similarly, we also have a major focus that will span the next couple of quarters on simplifying the experience for configuring your review cycle. So this should grab the attention of the administrators, those folks in HR who are doing the real work to make sure that your cycle has been configured properly, that your letters are configured in the exact way that your organization is expecting them. So rolling out some new features around the letter template experience, the letter editing experience, just bringing some modernizations to the admin experience as a whole, but also building in some of the usability improvements that we've heard would be helpful to customers. So really just trying to make your lives easier as administrators of our compensation management tool. And you'll continue to see similar updates specifically related to those administration features over the next couple of quarters and experience some of those efficiencies that we're going to be continuing to adopt as we upgrade those pages. On the pay factors side of the house, on the pay factors product, we've also launched our new Explore Payscale tiles. So this was a combination of a lot of different things, but really making sure that we had a clean, seamless user experience that also allowed our customers to be able to get a better idea of what services, products, tools Payscale has to offer. Because I think that, when you are focused on one specific category of compensation, you may not realize that we have a lot of expertise on the Payscale team. We have a lot of additional products that could potentially help to streamline some of your workflows. So making sure that our users have a deep sense of awareness into the professional services, the reporting, the data that is available to them that they may not already be taking advantage of. And then finally, for our market pay users, we've adopted single sign-on for our Payscale Connect portal. So if you're not familiar with Payscale Connect and you are a Payscale customer, Payscale Connect it's really incredible. It's going to give you really streamlined access to our support. So if you need help from anyone on our teams, whether that be a benchmarking specialist, your CSN, your support team, you're getting it really quickly through Payscale Connect. But it's also the home to all of our thought leadership, education materials, and it also gives you access to a community of all of our compensation professionals that are also using the tools that you are using on a daily basis. So making sure that our customers can get to Payscale Connect really quickly was very important to us. And we've seen some really great engagement in there, both with the content that we provide, but also in that compensation community.
Great. Thank you. So a lot going on there. If you're a Pay Factors customer, where can you see those Payscale tiles?
That is beautiful. That's a wonderful question. You can see those Payscale tiles directly on your dashboard. So as soon as you log in, you will see them. They look fantastic. Our design team did such a great job with them. So they will stand out for sure. We encourage you to take a look at those. And that dashboard is the same place that you can also access Payscale Connect in the Pay Factors product as well.
Right. So if you're a Pay Factors customer, then I would recommend you go and explore those new tiles. Okay, so the final theme of our launch was better benchmarking. And James, I'm going to bring you back in here. From my perspective, what I'm seeing as the kind of the big forward-looking challenge is the availability of data and the availability of new data sources, and how do we respond to that? How do you respond to that as a comp manager wanting to benchmark a job? And then how are we responding to it as a supplier of data? So I don't know if you could take us through kind of what we covered in our launch and generally what you're feeling about this growth in terms of data availability.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think on the part around data availability, there are lots of options out there for where you can get your data. And I think it's important to feel confident in the data that you're using and making sure that it is backed by the right information, the right methods, and so that you can feel confident in sharing that with others. And I think what we're continuing to do here at Payscale is making sure that we have the right data and that it is that our customers feel confident in that data as well. So just last month, we launched our annual update to our HR market analysis data set. And so this is a database of market composites. It's developed by our team of comp professionals and data scientists using HR reported compensation data. So it consists of data for more than 5,000 unique jobs. It's covering more than 250 industries. And the pricings are built from our own HR reported data survey sources, historical third-party survey trends, and our comp data experts analysis of the market. And this is all backed by our own proprietary and proven algorithms as well. And we're continuing to update HRMA every quarter with new jobs because we want to make sure that the kind of freshest data is available for our customers when they need that. And we update that based on the requests that our customers ask. They're wanting to find out more information on particular job titles. And so we work to collect that data because we want to, again, ensure we're providing that most relevant data for our customers to market price their jobs. At the same time, we're continuing to explore ways to expand all of our data. That includes our peer data set as well. And this includes work around, updating our technology to make it easier to load that data into the system, making it easier to match company jobs to jobs in the peer data set. And we talked about that auto matching feature earlier, which is, about AI. It's also about simplifying the workflow. And it's also about helping to kind of do better benchmarking across the board. So it really ticks all of those big thematic boxes for us. But we expect to see continued growth and expansion across our peer data set as a result of all of these initiatives. At the same time, we're keeping an eye on new types of compensation data that our customers are using and thinking about to price their jobs or to identify compensation market trends. And exploring ways we might be able to incorporate that data within our data products into the future as well. So we're evolving what we have, but we're also keeping an eye on what else we can use to provide that information to our customers.
Great, thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing how that evolves. One quick plug: we are doing a webinar on April the 18th. So myself, Sarah Hillemeyer, and Vicky Peatman, we are doing a webinar on how to choose your data sources. So if you're new to benchmarking and you're maybe at the very early stages of wanting to understand what data sources are out there, then join us for that episode. You'll be able to find that promoted on our payscale.com events page. And we will be digging deep into the many different data sources that are out there. And as you start your benchmarking journey, how to pick the right ones. So I thought I'd do a quick plug there. Okay, Brooke, you're going to take us home. Can you talk about some of the other exciting things that Payscale is doing to set the tone for the industry right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the really unique things about Payscale is not only are James and Brittany's teams putting amazing data and technology out into the world, but we have teams across Payscale that are working to help support our customers in a variety of ways. Ruth, you are one of those people as well in the amazing thought leadership that you and your team bring to our market and to the world. And so recently we released our compensation best practices report that I think we've mentioned at least 20 times in the last 20 minutes. And it's just a really amazing report about not only, how are people paying differently, but how are people practicing differently? And how is that evolving and growing? And it's just such an amazing piece. And then, earlier in February, I know you mentioned, Ruth, you've been talking about the gender pay gap report that Payscale releases as well. It's just such a vital piece of information that I know is used, across the country and across the world to help understand, what's going on with the gender pay gap. So those are two really amazing pieces of information. We also have a really powerful education team that puts together all of the content in Payscale Connect that Brittany was talking about earlier. They have also released a new program, Payscale Certifications, where users can go in to Payscale Connect. They can access certifications. They can take a test and they can get certified on the different products that they're using. Which is really, really cool. It's something totally unique to Payscale. And we're really excited for our users to not only be able to learn more and understand the products that they're using so that they can bring those practices inside their organization, but also so that our users can start to identify one another on places like LinkedIn and start to have amazing conversations there. We also have a partnerships team who is closely working with others in the industry. We've recently announced a partnership with Aon, where we are able to offer the Radford McLaughlin compensation database directly to our Payscale customers for those who are interested. We're really excited about that partnership and the data offering that provides to our customers. And then last but not least, I am really excited for Payscale to be at World at Work in late May. I think it's May 20th to 22nd. We will have a booth there. And so we really welcome all of our customers to come and say hello. And for listeners of the podcast to come and say hello to those who they have heard here and come and hear a couple of the sessions that we have as well. So we're really excited about that way to interact with the compensation community and to learn, continue to learn from our customers and from the market about what is top of mind for them so we can continue to offer amazing innovations that meet their needs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to World at Work. I can't believe it's probably about a month away from when we're recording this. I did meet many of our listeners last year when we were in San Diego. So if you're heading to Cincinnati this year, do look us up. James and I are both going to be leading different panels there. So do come and attend our panel, come to the booth. And we are hoping, technology willing, is that we will do a live Comp and Coffee there. So if you see me wandering around with a microphone, come and talk to me. I may ask you a question and you could actually end up on a future edition of Comp and Coffee, which could be very exciting. So, Brooke, I'm going to let you close us out. Anything else you want to mention before we move to close out on this episode?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention is today, it was a great conversation about what we're doing. If you want to see any of this in action, we have two opportunities to do that. So for our Market Pay customers who may be listening, we have a What's New in Market Pay webinar on March 16th. That you can access through the Payscale events page, whether live or whether you want to listen to that recording after the fact. And then for all of our other products, so pay factors, compensation planning, and our data sets, we have a Payscale Innovation Unleashed webinar happening on, I think it is the 25th of April as well. So if you want to check that out, we would love to have you there.
Thank you. Well, thanks to all three of you for sharing all of these exciting developments. We're going to convene again in another 3 months' time, and we'll talk about what's new in the second quarter of the year, I think. But we will include in the episode resources all the links to the information that we've shared today. So CBPR will tell you where you can get access to the compensation best practice report. We have a new AI landing page. We'll include the link to that. So if you want to explore more about what we're doing about AI, you can find that all summarized in one very cool new landing page. And we also have a World at Work event page as well, which is under our payscale.com events. You can find out what sessions we will be leading and where you can find us during that event. So I hope you've enjoyed this session. Thank you very much, Brooke. Thank you, James. Thank you, Brittany. Let us know what you thought. Was it interesting to hear what we're innovating here at Payscale? Let us know what you think at coffee@payscale.com, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Thank you all again.